If you have just tuned in, the time is just gone 8:14 a.m. and we kick off on this Juma morning, looking at an event that is taking place tomorrow. We're talking about a book launch. We're talking about the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in collaboration with OCAF South Africa. We're talking about evaluating Shaykh Yusuf Al-Makassari and Imam Abdullah Tidore's ideational teaching, reinforcing Indonesia South Africa's relations, and joining us on the line this morning. And you can view this interview live on Salam Media's YouTube and Facebook channels as well. We're talking with the CEO of OCAF South Africa, Zainul Abidin Kaji. Zainul Abidin, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Juma Mubarak and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Juma Mubarak to you and to all the viewers and listeners, and very good morning as well to everyone. Alhamdulillah.
Yes, quite interesting looking at this event that is due to take place tomorrow in collaboration with yourselves and the Republic of Indonesia. Now, we're talking about Sheikh Yusuf Al Makassari and Imam Abdullah Tidore. Now, before we just talk about the book, I just want to talk about these two personalities. Just a brief overview to begin with, Zainul Abidin.
Okay, so I think there needs to be a little bit of historical background that we find ourselves in South Africa, where we had Islam being a banned religion for almost 200 years or 150 years from the time that Jan van Riebeeck came to South Africa in 1652, and Islam was only unbanned in 1804. So that gives quite a long period of time, over 150 years, where Islam was a banned religion. Side by side, what was also happening was that the Dutch, who occupied the Cape and created that Cape colony, were also the dominant colonizers of Indonesia, Malaysia, parts of India, parts of Sri Lanka, parts of Africa as well. So there was this move and the uprising or the struggle for freedom in those countries as well. And Sheikh Yusuf was one of those strugglers, the freedom fighters. But he was also a great alim. He came from a very noble family, and he was actually exiled to the Cape in 1694, along with several other imams that were exiled with him, because he was exiled from Makassar, which is the place in Indonesia, and from there he was exiled to Sri Lanka. He spent time in India. He spent time in Arabia. He went for Hajj. He met lots of scholars. So he was really one of those great luminaries and scholars of Islam that was also in the forefront of the fight against the Dutch for liberation in Indonesia. And of course, the oppressor always found it, easy to rather eliminate a person than to sit with him in the country that they've colonized. So they decided to exile him to the Cape along with several other members, and some of them were also imams. So he was really, I think, a saintly figure whom a lot of people revere. There's a karamat in the Cape, in a place called Foray, which is now also called Makassar, and he is actually. Some say he's buried there. Some say his burial was done in Indonesia. But anyway, in the Cape, he propagated Islam. He's really regarded as the founding father of Islam in the Cape, because although Islam was a banned religion at that time, they did a lot of things like secretly in homes, in dungeons, and they spread Islam and taught people and kept Islam alive, and that was his real significance. And because he was steeped into a Sufi culture, in the Qadiriya culture, he was really, I think, the excellent figure to have been able to spread Islam and to maintain and strengthen Islam in the Cape. Alhamdulillah. Of course, then there's also the other person that is being written about in this book is Imam Abdullah Tidore. Tidore is actually the place where he comes from, and like Yusuf Al-Makassari, it's also the place that he comes from. But uh, Abdullah Tidore's popular name in the Cape is Tuan Guru, and that is the name that he is really known by. Abdullah ibn Qadi Abdul Salam and Shafiq Morton, wrote a book very recently. It was launched also by OCAF South Africa, and this book details quite a lot about Tuan Guru. Tuan Guru actually came to South Africa also as an exile in 1780, so almost 100 years after Sheikh Yusuf comes to the Cape. Sheikh Yusuf only lived for about 5 years before he passed on in the Cape. So he arrived in 1694 and he passed away in 1699. So there was a very short period of time that he spent in the Cape, but the relevance and influence that he had was tremendous. And so up to today, people revere him and they write books about him, and he's written quite a lot of books as well. Um, and people are still finding out and researching all his writings. As far as Tuan Guru is concerned, a very noble figure as well, extraordinary, exiled to the Cape in 1780. He wrote the Quran from memory on Robben Island. He also wrote a 613-page text called Marifat, and all this from memory, all this uh, from in prison on Robben Island. So Robben Island is actually very blessed with people who stayed there, who were exiled, who were incarcerated, and there are even some great men who have passed on and who are buried on Robben Island. So we have a long history and connection with Robben Island as Muslims of South Africa. Apart from, of course, our uh, our noble figures like Nelson Mandela, Madiba, who also passed on, as we know, and this is Mandela Month. So some of Tuan Guru's contributions has been that he established a school, a multinational, multi-religious, multi-international school, actually, where he had Muslims, non-Muslims, and they all eventually, Islam was spread in that way. He had almost like 300 students in his school. So that was already quite a significant number for a small population, and this was one of his major contributions, and also the first mosque in the Cape where he was the Imam, the Masjid al-Awwal. So, I'm sure that there'll be a lot more being said about these two people, these two extraordinary people who made such uh, major contributions to Islam in South Africa. And I think it's so important that all of us from the north, from the south, throughout South Africa, know about these gentlemen, because we sometimes forget that there were many sacrifices that were made for the growth and development of Islam in South Africa.
Yes. Now, also, Zainul Abidin, looking at the event that is taking place tomorrow and that is in collaboration with yourselves, as of course South Africa and the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia. And I'm sure, looking at the lineup, and I'm just looking at the poster right now, you've got His Excellency Salman Al Farsi, who is the former Indonesian ambassador to South Africa. You've got people like Zain Dango. We've got. Also Siraj Parwito, the Indonesian Consul General. and also people like Professor Mohammed Harun, Professor Yusuf Dadu, Shafiq Morton, you spoke about himself, Professor Suleiman Dango. So, you've got all these academics that are part and parcel of this launch of the book, and I'm sure they're going to be unpacking a lot, and this is the reason why we are actually promoting this event.
Yes, absolutely. I think we are very, very grateful to the Indonesian embassy, and particularly to Ambassador Salman Al Farisi, who was the initiator of this project, and who, through his staff, Arda Erlangga, who's one of the editors of the book, and they, together with Muhammad Harun and various contributors, and you've just mentioned quite a few of them. There's about 10 contributors actually to the book, each one sort of giving some aspect of Shaykh Yusuf, and then also of Imam Abdullah Tuan Guru. So I think that there is quite a lineup. There's also a young brother, Asif Bulbulia, who would be giving his review on the book, and as a respondent, Dr. Khairun Nisa Palekar. She will also be giving her comments on the book. And then we've got also Maulana Abdul Khalik Ali, who will also give some remarks about the book, and about him being the president of the United Ulama Council of South Africa, deputy president of the Muslim Judicial Council, and also being from Cape Town. He would also give his views on the book as well. And of course, it's about these two great personalities. We'll also have the Deputy Director General of DIRCO, uh, Mtombi Zodwa Lali, who would be attending as well. So this would be a hybrid event being held in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban at the same time, and there'd be lots of virtual participants as well, inshallah. There's many that have registered from many countries as well: Indonesia, Malaysia, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and some of the African countries, Uganda, Tanzania. So, alhamdulillah, it's only going to be for 2 hours. So, from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock South African time. And we're hoping that anybody out there is welcome to join us, and listen to these wonderful contributors and authors, and that have taken so much of time and energy to write about these great people.
Well, certainly, and also, Zainul Abidin, when one looks at South Africa and Indonesia in terms of our relationship, because this event will go a long way in terms of, and we're talking about reinforcing Indonesian South African relations, and because of this rich legacy that we have, this rich history, and also the contribution to the spread of Islam in South Africa, just being part and parcel of this event, I think, is an honor in itself. But also, when one looks at, how much one can actually gain, how much one can learn, the value add in attending this launch, and just listening to all these personalities who will be unpacking a lot.
Yeah, our relationship with Indonesia is actually quite a long one. I mean, since the connection between the Dutch East India Company, who was governing Indonesia at the time, Java, as we know, or Batavia, as we know, and slaves were brought from these countries, as well as political leaders, and amongst them were these great imams. So that relationship is really something that we cannot ignore, and that we need to strengthen based on that relationship. So a large number of people who are descendants of these great people still reside in the Cape, and and the Cape Muslim history is so unique, and it's just unfortunate that we don't really know and understand what really happened, and I think books like these strengthen that relationship between the two countries, as well as forging further relationships as well. So now we have lots of academic relationships. We have, I think, economic relationships that are being forged as well. And because of this affinity and this connection between South Africa and Indonesia, they have also been very strong in the anti-apartheid and non. Uh, I forget the name. Um, there used to be a non. Um, Sorry, I'm just a little bit blank on that. But
It's fine.
there was a conference in Bandung many years ago, and these were all the non-aligned people, non-aligned summit. That's what I was looking for. So all the countries that were involved with the non-aligned summit, they met in Bandung, and President Mandela was also there at the time, and so our relationship with them goes prior to the unbanning of the ANC, and it goes also with regard to freedom, that was fought for South Africa as well. They only open up their embassy about when post 1994. So prior to that, we had no embassy Indonesian representation here in South Africa.
Yes, now Zainul Abidin, just finally looking at this registration, there is still opportunity for people to register. How do they go about?
Yes, I think just click onto our website, www.ocafsa.org.za, and you'd be able to go to this book launch tab, and you could register on there. There's a virtual event registration button there. Click on there, register yourself, and just participate. I think this will be a great opportunity for everyone out there to just join in. If you've got the facility, the Zoom facility or the internet facility, then just join in, because this is an open invitation to everyone. There's no fee involved. It's all about our heritage and our contribution to Islam in this country, in this part of the world, and by these great people, our relationship with Indonesia, and hopefully, we can all benefit from it, inshallah.
Well, inshallah, Jazakallah khairan so much for that, Zainul Abidin. And we wish you well. We wish everybody else well at the event tomorrow, inshallah. And please take care. Have yourself a wonderful Jummah, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and you too, and to all the viewers and everyone, Jummah Mubarak, and have a good day. Have a good weekend, and see you at the book launch, inshallah.
Inshallah. Zainul Abidin Kaji, CEO of OCAF South Africa, and this is an event taking place once again. Get onto OCAF South Africa's website, and this is in collaboration with the Republic of Indonesia, talking about two great personalities who have made huge contributions towards the spread of Islam in South Africa. We're talking about Shaykh Yusuf Al-Makassari and Tuan Guru Imam Abdullah Tidore, about their teachings, and also at the same time, this great relationship that South Africa enjoys with Indonesia. The time is just gone 8:33. We're going to go for a break. We'll be back.